Let's talk about what to do after you have a new client. We found that it was helpful to have a checklist because various members of our staff might be doing various pieces, and we were over communicating about, now did someone do that? Who did that? Did we send the contract signed back to the client? So to avoid all that and to streamline your processes, we have a really nice template that is your new client template after you have already signed them up. So this is set up new client. And the way the templates are organized or titled is not by necessarily the first word in your sentence. So as an example, everything's a motion, right? So motion for new trial, motion for temporary orders. We didn't want everything to be under M. So if it was a motion for new trial, it would be new trial, comma, motion. So in this scenario, it's client, colon, set up new. So set up new client. And again, when you're working with these templates, you can adjust these to meet your needs, and you can treat them like a checklist where you assign things to people with a due date. So the first item on our new client setup is plan level action. So a plan level action means it doesn't really fall under a category. So plan level action is send a vacation letter if the case is in progress. So sometimes we're the first lawyer, so there's no one to send it to yet. But if you're the second lawyer and the case is in progress, maybe you're taking over the case as it's already going, you want to remember to send your vacation letter so nobody surprises you before you've had a chance to do anything and you're going on spring break next week. You want to have that vacation letter to protect yourself, because under the rules, if you file a vacation letter with the court and give it to opposing counsel, they are not supposed to, that doesn't mean they won't break the rule, but they're not supposed to set anything on the days listed in your vacation letter. So that will help you, especially if you need to move it after they've already done it, to say, hey judge, I had a vacation letter on file. So this is a good reminder right after you get the case to send a vacation letter out. And I, as a practice, don't send my vacation letters to my clients. And the reason I don't is it just freaks them out, because I'm heavily listing the dates. So I'm listing every time I'm in trial, mediation, CLE, anything, and they see it and they think, oh my gosh, you're never going to be there to work on my case, which is not true. But I'm heavily listing everything because I want that protection that I don't have things set on top of my calendar. But I did find that there's really no value to sending it to the client, except to make them more anxious than they already are. Okay, so our first category is create client file folders for paper documentation. So you may or may not still have paper files. We have some lawyers in our office that do and some that don't. So this can be adjusted depending on your personal practice, if you have a paper practice or not. But really, your computer file could very much match how you would have your pleading boards. And my personal preference, whether it's in the computer or on a hard pleading board, is I like to have my discovery on a separate board than my other pleadings. Otherwise, the boards become too big and too unwieldy. It's very difficult. You're just trying to find a motion. You have to dig through all that discovery. So I think best practice is to just start out having a separate board for your discovery, separate board for your pleadings, separate board for your correspondence, separate board for your attorney's notes, and then you're going to have client documents. So those are basically the boards that we use. But of course, what's great about this is you can adjust this to have it set up any way you want. And we even have specific notes about, like you'll see in here, labels using Avery number and as the Avery number, so that anyone who picks this up, a brand new employee, could pick this up and know exactly how we want our files labeled, what label to order. So it really helps you in training, less training. And we have a difference in our collaborative cases because there's different types of files. So you would still have pleadings, but you're not going to have a discovery board. But you are going to need to have minutes, a minute board, an agenda board. So this lays out the different types of cases, litigation, and collaborative. So we need to have a client account number, and we need that for different purposes in our office. We use time slips for our billing, for example, and they need to have a number. Maybe you need a client code for the copier, things like that. So we have a reminder to make that. And then I like for my staff to create a contact in my Outlook contacts. So in Outlook, of course, if you use that for your email and your contacts, they have a business card that you can enter in there, and that pushes to my phone automatically. So the minute I get a new client, if they load the client, the opposing counsel, any experts, all into my contacts, that will push out to my phone, and then wherever I am, I can call them quickly, or if they call me, I can see who it is calling. So that's on our checklist of what to do with a new client. As we talked about, the copier code, so we have a reminder here to enter them into our copier code. And depending on what your copy system is, it tells you to enter it in copy track if you use copy track, or Rico, or whatever copier system you might use. And then we have how we want the client folders and subfolders to look on the computer. So that's redundant if all you have is an electronic file, obviously. But if you have a paper file, you need both. So this is step by step. This can be assigned all to one person or to multiple people, the different pieces. And it's just a good reminder to everyone of what to do when we get a new client in.